Welcome. This is the Tactical Gaffers How to Play tutorial video. Start by placing all the 11 pieces from your team into your desired positions within your defensive half. In this case, the white team is positioned in a 4-4-2 or 4-2-4. And the blue team will be positioned in a 4-3-3. The opponent's piece would appear to you upside down since as they would place it right side up from their side across the board. Now that all the pieces are positioned, to begin the game, both players roll the dice, to see who gets to center the ball. The player with the highest dice roll, gets to center the ball. In this case, the white team rolled on 6, and the blue team rolled on 4. Therefore the white team gets to center the ball. Let's look at positioning. The goalkeeper piece, which is always the number 1 piece, should always remain in these two squares, inside of the goalkeeper box, or 6-yard box. The goalkeeper can move between these two squares per turn. Leaving these two squares can be dangerous if the opponent team has the ball. We'll cover more on this later. Next, no defending piece can be positioned in the goalkeeper box while the goalkeeper is in it. One square must remain available at all times for the opponent to be able to score from that distance. No 3 pieces can form a straight line, vertically or horizontally. If a piece moves into this illegal play, this can be corrected by returning the piece onto its previous square, or moving another piece out, if it has not already been moved, in that turn. This rule does not apply diagonally. That is because a diagonal line does not prevent an opponent's piece from moving past it. A vertical or horizontal line of 3 pieces is not illegal if one of the pieces is the opponent's piece. This is also not allowed. No 4 pieces from the same team should form a square. This can be fixed by returning the piece to its previous square, or moving out a piece which have not yet been moved in that turn. This is acceptable. Before we move on to ball and piece movement, the ball can be centered by placing it on top of a piece in any of the 2 squares in your defensive half, which the center circle passes through. And only after the ball is centered can you begin to move the other pieces. The ball is centered at the beginning of the game, and by a team which has conceded a goal after the opponent scores. That is the only time pieces can be repositioned. Let's proceed. The ball can be passed to a piece at any distance in a straight line horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, as long as there is no opponent blocking the path. In this case, if the player who is centering the ball wanted to pass the ball horizontally, he could go ahead and pass it to number 10, or to number 11. His vertical options are number 1, and his diagonal options are number 6 and number 3. If number 11 had the ball and wanted to pass the ball to number 10, this isn't possible with a direct pass because the opponent's number 7 is blocking the path. Let's go ahead and center the ball. Once the first pass is made, you can now begin to move your pieces. Each piece can move once per turn and the ball can be passed or shot once per turn. After centering the ball and moving all the pieces you wish to move, it is the opponent's turn. Now that it's the white team's turn again, observe this attack. As you can see, both pieces were moved only once and the ball passed once. If a shot was to occur, it would have to take place in the next turn, since the ball was already passed in this turn. With one exception, the ball could be shot directly after receiving a pass, if the piece played a lobbed pass to another piece which is in the opponent's penalty box. This is what it would look like. It's now the blue team's turn. No matter what choice of movement number 11 makes, he is unable to deliver a direct pass to the number 9. Therefore he decides to lob the ball. A lob is a pass which can be played to any piece, anywhere on the board, as long as the receiving piece is onside. The receiving piece does not have to be in line horizontally, vertically, or diagonally like the rules for a direct pass. To perform a lob pass, the player must roll the dice on a 4, 5, or 6 for the pass to be successful. If the dice rolls on 1, 2, or 3, the ball would be given to the nearest opponent's piece to the piece which would have received the ball. In this case the lob was successful, and because the number 9 was located in the penalty box when receiving the pass, the attacking piece is instantly awarded a shot at goal. In this case the attacker missed the shot. Once a shot misses, the ball returns to the goalkeeper for a goal kick. There is no offside during a goal kick. However, a pass cannot be played to an offside piece in the opponent's goalkeeper's reach, which would be this zone. If the number 9 happened to be in this position during a goal kick, he could receive a lobbed pass from the keeper. If it was here, then the pass would not be allowed. Unless a defending piece was in this position and the attacking piece was now onside. Let's look at the dice roll required to score from the different areas. Firstly, the position with the highest scoring odds is from one of the two goalkeeper squares. To score from there, a dice roll of 3, 4, 5 or 6 is required to score a goal. If the attacker is shooting from the 6 surrounding squares inside of the penalty box, a dice roll of 4, 5 or 6 is required to score. If the attacker is shooting from the 10 surrounding squares on the edge of the penalty box, a dice roll of 5 or 6 is required to score. If the attacker is shooting from anywhere else in the attacking half, a dice roll of 6 is required to score. No shot at goal can be attempted from the defensive half. Whenever a shot fails to land on the required dice roll, the ball returns to the goalkeeper for a goal kick. If the keeper leaves one of the two goalkeeper squares and the attacking team has the ball and is able to take a shot, the odds of every required dice roll improves by 1. So taking a shot from a distance which requires a 6 to score, would now require 5 or 6 to score. And from a distance where a dice roll requires 5 or 6, a dice roll of 4, 5 or 6 would now be required to score. And so on. Now, let's talk about dribbling past an opponent's piece. An attacking piece can dribble past an opponent's piece as long as the square beyond the opponent's piece is clear to move into. In order for a dribble to be successful, a dice roll of 4, 5 or 6 is required. This only applies vertically or horizontally. A piece cannot dribble past the opponent's piece diagonally. After a successful dribble, the attacking piece can either pass or shoot, if possible. If the dice roll is unsuccessful, the opponent's piece gets the ball and the turn is passed. Now let's talk about challenging for the ball. A defending piece can steal the ball from the opponent by committing challenging for the ball. In order for a challenge to take place, the defender must be in a square in the front, diagonal front, or to the sides of the attacking piece. A challenge cannot take place from the rear or diagonal rear of the attacker's piece. Which direction determines the front? A piece is always facing the opponent's goal. For a challenge to be successful, a dice roll of 4, 5 or 6 is required. If successful, the defending piece steals the ball and is allowed to move once and pass or shoot once, even if it has already been moved on this turn. And that's all you need to know to play the best soccer board game out there.